How to become the highest performing salon. Hi, I'm Kayla Swanson, and I am your host of High Performance Salon Academy's Profitable Salon podcast. And I get to have on with me today the CEO of High Performance Salon Academy, Jason Everett. What's up, Jason?
Whoa! Excited to hang out. It's always fun to kick it on the show and hang out with you. You're my favorite podcast host.
Oh man, there's a lot of podcast hosts out there, so I'll take the.
I meant just of this show. You're my favorite host of this show.
That's well, you were the other host. So.
That's why I said you're my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. It's good to be on. Excited to hang out with you, Kayla, and looking forward to having a good show today because there's some meat, man, on this one, and I think it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good show.
I think so too. So today we're talking about how to become the highest performing salon. We've had some things come up this last week, and we're like, man, what a topic to just share with everybody else of how you can take the steps necessary to be a high performing salon and get yourself to where you actually want to be. So if you're curious, what is the secret to becoming that? That is what we're talking about today.
That's the show.
That is the show today. So Jason, let's start talking about when you were thinking about performing well, where do you kind of start to begin of what does it mean to perform well?
Yeah. Well, let me talk about this performance. So, I have a performance background in lots of different areas. Okay. Meaning I used to be an onstage performer when I was an actor. I'd perform in a band, or I was like the lead singer in a band, and I was in theater, and I was a professional dance instructor, and all these crazy things. People are always like, what? That's so random for what you do today. And I'm like, well, it's not if you just all frame it under performance.
Yeah.
And the reason why we call the High Performance Salon Academy is performance is all about getting your best out of someone, right? Like getting your absolute top 1% very best of either an acting performance, a business performance, a cars performance, a whatever. Like, it's how do we continue to have a constant and never ending improvement that allows us to be the best version of ourselves possible. And like, you heard me say this before, is like my own personal mission is to help people see how truly great they can be. And the only way to do that is to be constantly running at your peak level of performance. Like, what are you constantly at the edge of? And so what happened this last week that made me prompt and want to talk about this on the show is I had a client, and this is exactly what happened. I had an idea, and I was watching this guy who, sorry, I'm giving like 3 stories inside of a story. Never do that. I saw a guy who was telling me what he did, and I was like, man, he's an executor. What I mean is, like, he hears something, he executes on it, he does it, and it's finished. And so I had this idea, and you were involved in this idea. I had this idea. I'm like, oh, we should do a video about this. Here's a problem. Let's shoot a video on it. Let's do this in 24 hours. And I'm like, Kayla, step outside. And we shot a video. Right. I was wearing my yellow pants the other day. Today, yellow shirt. The other day was yellow pants. Right. But I'm like, Kayla, shoot this video. And you're like, what? Huh? And I hand the camera. We shoot a video. We send it over to the team 24 hours later. And actually, first thing in the morning, Mark shoots it over to me. And he's like, boom. And I post it on the thing. And all of a sudden, it's online within 24 hours of having the idea.
Literally.
Within 24 hours. And then one of my clients messaged me within another, 12, 24 hours, something like that. And they go, Jason, took your idea, sent the text out to our entire database, and I got 175 new reviews overnight. 175 new reviews. If you would love to have 175 new reviews, good news, go on my damn Instagram channel and go watch this video. It's on there. It's just chilling. It's just sitting there. And here's what I think was really interesting is I was sitting there talking to the gal who her team had sent this out. And by the way, she has 3 incredible salons. She has multi-million dollars. She's got a leadership team. And when she first started with me, she was like $800,000 a year. Now she's like 3 million plus. She just crushes.
Crazy.
And what's really wild to me is I was like, what makes her different? Why, when I talk to this gal, does she get a different level of result than anybody else that I know? What is it? And by the way, I see this all the time in the academy. We have the High Performance Salon Academy, not the kind of getting by, hopefully going to be better Salon Academy, not the almost better than last year Academy, like the High Performance Salon Academy. And it's interesting. In the academy, sometimes people leave. And this is my favorite reason why somebody left the academy. So if you want to know why we suck, let me tell you.
Nice.
Somebody shared with me that she's like, Jason, and I hope she doesn't listen to the show. She probably doesn't. She left the academy. But she goes, Jason, every time I come to your events, people just want to do more, be better, just grow. And I'm good. And she's like, I'm good. I don't want to do more. I just want to do what I'm doing and be a little bit better at it. And I looked at her and I was like, that is not here.
At the wrong place.
And she went to another coaching company and is totally happy over there. And I'm like, cool. And I just was like, look, I want people who are ambitious,
Right.
who are high energy, that are excitable, that are humble, that are eager. And like, I'm not for everybody. If you're like, I just want to know if I can make another $50 this week. I'm like, dude, go sell one more service to make another $50. Don't call a business coach if you want to hit $50. If you
Right.
want to get to your next million, I got you. You want to hit 3, 4, 5, 6 million, and you want to take the biggest profit paycheck you've ever had, I'm your guy. So what is it? What is it about these owners that are in our academy that show up to play really, really big? And I realized of the hundreds of people that we have inside our academy, there's a top 1%, right? Like, don't you want to know the top people in our academy that call me up that like grew by $1 million last year, that do like unheard of results? Don't you want to know what they do?
I do.
Kayla's like, yeah, tell me, please.
I do.
Right? But like, that's the idea. If you're listening and you're watching and you're playing along with us, it's like,
are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. Use promo code HPSA for your first 2 months free. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Here's what I wrote down, and I realized what this gal does different than anybody else, and all of my top performers do the exact same people. You ready for it? They take massive action. Now, okay. Super simple concept. Well, yeah, massive action. They do it very quickly. There's a lot of things on it. But here's what they don't do. They don't overthink. They don't stall out. They don't have a committee meeting. They don't write a pros and cons list. They don't do all that stuff. They literally heard my advice, took it and executed. And I can tell you right now that of the thousands and thousands of people that watch that video, they're the first ones to get it accomplished.
Yeah.
And
like,
look
at the results.
And their results were stupid. And people message me. They're like, how did somebody get 175? That's not even possible. I'm like, well, they have 3 locations. So, okay, sure. Maybe that's part of it. Like 175, like across 3 locations. Okay, I get it. So let's make that 1 location. Let's divide that in thirds. And now we're at whatever that is, 68, 70 overnight. What if you just got 20 overnight or 50 overnight or 100 overnight? Like that's still massive, 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 right? So here's the things that I wrote down that I think would be very helpful. I'm gonna let you guys listen to it on the podcast and write it down if you're not driving and you're somewhere safe. Okay.
Nice.
Number 1. They take action, and they don't just take unaction. They take a big, massive action, like a giant swing. They don't pull any punches. They just do it. They take massive action. Number 2, they know how to, as owners, inspire other people to take action. So this is really interesting. It's one thing to be somebody that goes, great idea, execute, great idea, execute, great idea, execute. But if you really want to be big, you want to get into multi-locations and multi-million dollars and all that stuff, you got to inspire others to take action. Like, I know my inspiring you to take action was, hey, Kayla, grab a camera. We're going outside. Like, okay, cool. But like, I would say, and you'd have to let me know because you've been on the team for years and years now. I would imagine that we have a long-standing history of working very quickly and getting things accomplished. And I've got a history of us being able to do things very quickly and get massive things accomplished. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things I've learned is the power of how much you can accomplish in 60 seconds.
100%, right? And like, that's how our team works around here. Like, you're like, bam, 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 let's go, right? And so if I know that I can inspire you to take action because, to your point, you're like, okay, I know that if I take massive action, great things can happen. You come pre-trained, preconditioned to, if I say, let's go do something, you're like, hell yeah, let's go. You're not like, I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out. Like, I don't have time this minute. And like, you're always very good about accommodating that. And I appreciate it. And I would say people on the team operate that same way.
Yeah. You attract those people.
Right. And so like, I am around people who are constantly like that. And if they're not like that, I will warm them up to me or they won't hang out, because if you don't take massive action when we say to go, like, you're not gonna be around very long. Right.
Yeah.
So number 2 is massive action. And then number 3, and you'll appreciate this one too. Number 3 is they take what I call corrective action. The number 1 thing we do around here and we inspire our clients to do is take corrective action. See, most people have already executed, inspires others to execute it. Well, sorry. Most people are still thinking about the thing that I mentioned a couple of days ago. But this team already took action, already got their team to do it, and they're already making corrections before you've even taken your first step out the door. And that's, in my opinion, what helps people to win. Like, if you just act quicker than anybody else, a lot of good things do it. Now, there's a lot of people like, I like to be planned. I like to have all my ducks in a row. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place to do that. Totally. But I think that there's something to be said for people to take action. I was in a class one time taking I was writing notes. And so my action while I was in this class was writing notes. And somebody else, when I was in this class had their phone out. And every time they'd hear something, they'd go, blah, 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 blah. And they would talk into their phone, and they would like literally just whisper into their phone and come back, whisper into their phone and come back, whisper. And I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? His name was Carson. And I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm voice noting my assistant all the things I wanted to do literally right now on this class. And I'm like,
Dang.
what? He's like, yeah, I'm literally sending her these notes right now so that by the end of the day today, all those things are already accomplished. And I was like, I am slow. Like I was like, I'm moving at the speed of dirt. Okay, here's what I was going to do. I was going to write down my notes. At the end of the day, I was going to review my notes. When I go back to the office next week, I was going to sit down with the team, have a debrief meeting, and then I was going to decide and put an evaluation panel in place and figure out what I want to do, and then pick the top 2 or 3 actions, then evaluate it and get everybody to vote on it. Then I'm going to figure out which ones we're going to do. We're going to put a plan in place. We're going to put the organization together. And I was like, oh my God, I am the corporate red tape that people hate. Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's how you go and learn and implement and do all those things.
Building a salon empire takes vision. Staying profitable takes the right tools. Right now, HPSA listeners get 30% off Aura Salonwear for 3 months, plus $5,000 in free text. Get started at aurasalonwear.com/HPSA.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe you can weigh in, Kayla. What's it like working on a team like that? Can I reverse podcast interview you? What's it like working on that team that's like that from your experience? Because I want to know, because I got more to share, but what's your thought on that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do move really fast. And I think, like you said before, like there is a time and a place to plan and have like a plan,
of course,
to at least have some kind of plan. But I think learning to know the difference between and make action while you're also having a plan, like that's the kind of what we do is we are in action, taking steps to move it forward while we're planning the things that take more time or things like that.
Totally.
And it's like a constant evolution. And I think the number one thing that what you said earlier is making corrective decisions. Like, okay, oh, that didn't work. Okay, make a different decision. And we do not dwell on the mistakes that we make. We do not dwell
like
on
that wasn't great.
Go
Let's
wrong.
go.
Yeah. Like, okay, that didn't work. Obviously, let's move on. And what that does is it creates a mindset in our mind that we're not afraid of making mistakes.
For sure.
And I think that's what holds you back from making decisions. Like, well, what if it goes wrong? What if nothing happens? And it's don't be afraid of something going wrong or somebody saying no, because you're not going to know unless you ask them. And so being willing to put yourself out there, being willing to make the decisions and just move forward. Like we have in our code of honor, we like, do not be paralyzed by fear and not be helped or by doubt.
By paralyzed by doubt. Yeah.
Don't be paralyzed by doubt of like, well, I don't know how this is going to work out. So I just need to make sure I have all my ducks in a row in order to move. And then you just won't get as much accomplished thinking in that mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, it's like, when in the phrase specifically that just hit my mind as you mentioned it is when in doubt, take action, right? It's like when in doubt, take action. And when you're in that mode of, taking action, it's a very powerful way to operate and move and go forward. And like, it's just like the question becomes, how quickly can you take action on something and do something incredible? So if you can take quick action, you can get people to move, like you will be able to correct 100 times faster than anybody else. And it's like,
100%.
how much practice can you get in? Because if you need to have 10,000 hours of practice, if you do those 10,000 hours in a month, or you do those 10,000 hours over 10 years, you're just going to correct and learn faster.
It's not going to happen.
Like,
and I think it's largely who you put the people around you as well. Like, building your team and you said earlier as well, it's like empowering people to be able to take action quickly. And like, we all trust each other. And I think that's the number one thing that I love about our team is that we all trust each other in our decision-making skills. And I know like, hey, I'm handing you this ball. I know that you got it. And if you don't, you'll ask for help. It's like we will hold space for ourselves and we will ask when we need it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very mature way of going about how we're doing things. And it starts with the directors, and it starts at the top and goes down and being like, okay, you got that, then I got this.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Everybody's got their spot.
Opening a new salon or remodeling? Feeling overwhelmed? We've got you. At Collins, we custom build salon equipment made just for you in Tennessee, with local reps and designers to guide you from layout to delivery. Explore at collins.co/HPSA.
There's a great quote from Walt Disney. It said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. And I think like that's the deal is like you can talk something to death until you're blue in the face. Yeah. And it's not about luck or intelligence or anything else. It's just about taking action. Like the people who take more action get more opportunities. It's like the more at bats, the more shots you take, the more you're going to make. I can just it's like, think about the evolution of the digital camera. How much faster of a photographer did you get better at taking photos when you had a camera that you just kept taking, and you should delete them all? I'm old enough to remember when you would take a picture and then develop a roll of film and not see it for 6 months, Like, cause you had it in your closet and then you took it in. Like, I know there's some oldies on the call with me. Sorry, oldies. That's us, right? It's like, you're like, yeah, I don't remember what that was like, Jason. Thank you. But the idea is that like that, your ability to correct as a photographer was really poor. And as soon as I could take instantaneous photographs, my photography skills went through the roof because I could get instant feedback and instant setup, which is what I'm talking about when we talk about the correction layer here, right? And by the way, I just want to throw this out here. I actually created an entire action taker playbook that gives this whole outline of what I'm talking about right now. And if you want the playbook, comment playbook, and we'll send it over to you on the podcast. But like, I just want you guys to know that like, there's a bunch of different things. I'll give you some framework. How do you take that fast action? How do you take constant action to make sure that it creates a habit over time? And how do you create consistent action that allows you to do that over a long period of time? So number one, you got to take the fast action. Number two, constant action, meaning how do you keep up that pace? Like even the podcast, doing the podcast on a regular basis, that's consistent action. And then, or excuse me, constant action. And then consistent action is like, how do you make it consistent by improving and improving and improving and improving and improving and consistently making it better and better and better? You'll have a much better framework. So I literally in that playbook go through each one of those and how do you make, and I'll talk about some today. I don't mean to like gatekeep that. I'll give you that today, but like that fast action, constant action, and consistent action is massive.
Wow. Man. And I think it's, wherever you're at, you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I'm good at some things. And then there's certain things that hold me back. And I identifying what actions do you feel like you need more time to plan, and even being aware of where you land on that, of where like, man, I can like, yeah, make these really quick or these ones slow, and realizing what's holding you back and why you are so resistant to jumping into action. Like if you have already seen the reel on Jason's Instagram, why haven't you taken that step to just to put it out there, and asking yourself those questions too, to understand where it's coming from, to know who you are as an owner and how you are supporting your team. Because if you can't take those quick actions, and your team cannot take those quick actions.
Ready to transform your business and improve your salon's profitability? With Lonza's 3-in-1 technology and intermixable shades, your hair color inventory is streamlined with limitless creativity behind the chair. Click the link below to unveil the secret to salon success.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of like self-doubt that sneaks in there. Everybody sees something like, that's a good idea, I should do it later, which is, I got a couple rules. I've got a rule. It's called the 2-20-24 rule.
Nice.
2-20-24. The 2-20-24 rule, I know it sounds like a date, 2-20-24. But the 2-20-24 rule is like, what action can you take in 2 minutes or less? In 2 minutes or less, what can you do? Can you make a phone call? Can you send a text? What's the 2-minute action? Then what's the 20-minute action? What's something that if you sat down and carved out 20 minutes, that's all you need, 20 minutes of focus time on it, how far could you get? 20 minutes of focus time. So 2 minute is the immediate action, 20 minutes of like, let me just get started. And then within 24 hours, what are the things you can do if in 24 hours, meaning in the next day, you can take action on again? So it's the 2, 20, and then 24. And the reason why each of those pieces are really important is like, I think you've heard me talk about this before, Kayla, but I was a big brother through Big Brothers Big Sisters. You've heard me talk about that, right? And I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, or it wasn't a podcast. That's really funny. It was a CD. That's how old I am, right? So it was a CD, and I wish I could say tape. It wasn't that old, but like a CD at least. And I was listening to it, and he's like, what's one thing you could do right this second? That's my Tony Robbins. What's one thing you could do right this second that would completely change your life? And I was like, I've always wanted to be a big brother through Big Brother Big Sister. He's like, stop this video or stop this audio right now and do it. And I'm like, and he goes, no, really, stop this audio. And I'm like, I'm driving in the car. He's like, I'm serious, stop the audio. So I'm like, fine. I finally stopped the audio. I look up Big Brothers Big Sisters. I make a phone call and nobody answers. I just leave a message. Hey, I'm Jason. I'd love to be a big brother. I didn't know that they had a 20-minute interview with me one time. They're like, hey, what makes you want to be a big brother? They asked me all these questions. And then within just a couple of days, 24 hours-ish, within just a couple of days, they were already matching me with my little brother, who was in my life for 10 years.
Dang.
10 years. He's still in my life today. I mean, he's not in my life, but like I hung out with him almost every weekend for 10 years.
Wow.
And like, what did it take? A 2-minute action. 1 2-minute action. That's all it took. Me leaving a voice message changed my whole freaking life. Yeah. And so sometimes when you learn something, and like there are so many things asking for our attention. Do this, buy now, do that, blah, blah, blah. Show up and get a discount at, I don't know, whatever this tire mart and tire barn, and come buy this coffee. Like everybody wants your attention. But when you hear a really good idea, what can you do in 2 minutes? 2-minute rule, 20-minute rule. then sit down and say, what's the 20 minutes? What can I dedicate to this and make sure that we move forward? And then what can you do in 24 hours? I think that makes a massive difference inside of how you operate. Make sense?
Oh man, completely makes sense. And I think when you're able to look at things like, okay, I can handle 2 minutes now and know that 20 minutes is coming to do the same task and do it better. And I think that's a perfect rule to even think. So 2, 20, 24.
2, 20, 24. And there's a couple of things in here. I'll hit this cursor. I don't have time to get to everything, but it's in the playbook if you want to just comment playbook, like I said. The constant action. There was a quote from Aristotle that says, what we repeatedly do, excellence, then is not an act, but a habit. Okay. What we repeatedly do, excellence, then is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle quote. And I thought it was really fascinating when you think about that. Is like excellence is like if you repeatedly do it and you become excellent at something, it's no longer you're trying to be excellent. It is just a habit of excellence. And so when you look at that constant building long-term habits, like how do you commit to the process, say, I'm going to do it for this amount of time. Like, how do I take care of it? Like when I see something, I'm going to do it. When I see something, I'm going to do something. How do you just move forward in a great way? And I think that builds this like long-term track record of building consistency to a level of excellence that most people don't. Like most people don't commit to putting on a podcast every week or making 15 calls a day or whatever the thing is that you got to do. And I think that stops people. Yeah. And the last thing, I won't give the whole framework of it, but I will just say, in order to take corrective action or being consistent requires correction and constant correction. Is there some questions you need to ask? And I'll tell you the exact thing that we use in our office. I know you know what it is, Kayla, don't give it away, but like what the exact process we use in our office to take corrective action quickly. There's 2 questions we ask at the end of every event, at the end of everything we do. There's only 2 questions. And if you learn those 2 questions, man, it will change how quickly you correct. And I think those are the things you need to do in order to take massive action. And that's what in my experience, I know we're kind of running out of time, but like in my experience, that's what's the difference between the performers that are the top 1% of our academy versus the performers that are in the bottom 99.
Take action. Heck yeah.
Yeah. And take action, take action, do it over a long period of time and correct very quickly.
Yeah. Dang, man, really quick,
helpful?
Really sweet. Hope you learned a lot from. Very helpful. I learned a lot. I love and be able to like. This is what we live as a team, and I advocate. Right.
I mean, you've experienced it for years, right?
Yeah, literally. And we've been able to accomplish so many things in the last couple of years because we take action quick and we correct and the questions and things like that. So thank you, Jason, for hanging out with us today. Hopefully you learned a lot. If you want that playbook, comment or send us a text. There'll be a text in the description. You can text us playbook, and I will get that sent over to you. As always, appreciate you joining us on the Profitable Salon podcast.
Heck yeah.
Jason, always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
We'll see you next time on the Profitable Salon podcast.
You've been listening to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review, and check us out at ProfitableSalon.com for more episodes, content, and to help you turn your salon into the business you've always dreamt of.